The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. And I'm going to suggest right now is a great time to make that call as a liability advisor. I'm telling you, you need to be looking at what's going on in the markets right now. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback in interest rates. That's good news. And if you're thinking about consolidating your debt, what is your effective interest rate? That's going to be an interesting number for you to know. What is that effective interest rate? How do you get the effective rate? Okay, we're going to talk about that in the days and weeks to come, but let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, I should say, down 66. 10-year Treasuries down 11 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, they are up 42 basis points. That is some good news, finally. According to OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Their number as of May 23rd, the 30-year conforming loan, 5.431. 30-year jumbo, 4.953. 30-year FHA loan, 5.331. The best loan on the market for our veterans. Thank you for your service. 5.062 is the 30-year VA loan. USDA, 5.247. 15-year conforming. Why are you getting that one? 4.464. That's where the loan's locked at. The real question now becomes, why are they locking at those prices? And again, that's 35% of the market. That's the average locked rate yesterday, regardless of what you hear on the news or regardless of what you hear anywhere else. Why is it happening? Well, weak earnings from several companies. Snapchat. Josh, does anybody use Snapchat anymore? I mean, is it big? Okay. So I thought that that people moved away from Snapchat. Apparently, it's still a big player out in the marketplace. They came out and they said that, they're not getting as much advertising revenue. They cited the deteriorated macro landscape and recession as the reason they expect softer numbers in the second quarter, weighing heavily on stocks. Global manufacturing slowdown after weak readings from the New York Manufacturing Index and the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. The Richmond Fed Reserve dropped from 17 in April to 14 in May, which was significantly lower than expectations. Fed is going to increase interest rates by 50 basis points on June 15th. That's a half a point there, half a percent. Think about that concept right there. That will affect some credit cards. Almost all home equity lines of credit will be affected by that. Mortgage rates, maybe not. We've seen that speculating whether the Fed would have the resolve to keep hyping with deteriorating economic conditions. And it appears we're not the only ones. The Atlanta Fed President, Raphael Bostic, said that a pause in September may make sense and 50 basis point hikes in June and July based on economic conditions. We're going to hear from the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, a little after, probably right about now is when he's probably speaking. So we're going to give you any information we hear from that one. Housing news, no new home sales, which measures signed contracts on new homes, down 17%. Ooh. Ow! Yeah, that's a big number. That's the April number to 591,000 annualized pace, which was in line with expectations. The report actually weaker than it appears as there was a negative revision to the previous month. When factoring that in, sales are down 22% from the initially reported number. Year-over-year sales, they're down 27%. Why the big decline? Well, obviously, higher rates, home prices are having an impact, but uncertainty is as well. It normally takes 6 months to build a new home, but today it's much longer and there's little certainty on completion times. People rarely make moving plans years in advance with rates moving higher and fears of a recession. Many are not comfortable purchasing a new home that is not completed and it does not have a solid finish date. To the point, there were 444,000 homes for sale at the end of April. Only 38,000 or 6% are completed. 6% of them completed. The rest are either not started or under construction. Median home price, I'm going to talk about that in depth in a minute. 450,600, which is up 20% year over year, points to an increase in higher priced homes sold. The average price home came in at 570. We'll give you more information on that. But we do have a chart here. We'll grab this chart from our report here, and we'll see if we can get this shared on our social channels a little bit later in the day today. So that's just a little bit, and it gives you good information on where these new home sales are coming. Mortgage bonds are breaking out to the upside. That is good news. When they break out going on the upside, the bond up, that tells us interest rates are dropping, and that is really good news right now. We're excited about seeing that. Not that we like the idea of the economy faltering, but if the bond is going up, which means the yield or the rate is going down, that pretty much tells us that the bond market thinks that the Federal Reserve may be getting a handle on inflation, and maybe if they don't overdo it, then I think I just shared with you, as Mr. Bostic says, right? The idea here is do a 50 basis point. They already did one, do another one. It takes about 9 months for this to get through the market. So you don't get the feeling, the effect of this right away. We want to let that settle through, let it go through, let them figure out what's going on with that. And it'll be very, very helpful going forward. Now, those of you that are out there looking at buying property, or you've got a bid in for new construction, and I'm telling you that there's such a small percentage of that is completed, and they really don't even know when they're going to complete because of the supply chain issues. Only 6% of the properties out there really completed. What do you do? Well, I'm going to share with you what we suggest, because quite honestly, I don't do real estate. I do a radio show in the morning. I lead a lending team all the time. And I was on a call last week with a gentleman, and we're looking up, we went to rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. And we shared, or we put in there, I want to know I put in Anaheim Hills to start with. And I said, are there any homes in Anaheim Hills for sale, single family, condo, or townhome, under $700,000? And I expanded it, so I did Anaheim Hills and the surrounding areas. And I think we came up with 36 properties that were under $700,000. Why do I share that? It's because I'm not out there looking at properties all the time. I know there are people that are listening to us right now that they do that all the time, and they understand. They can tell you off the top of their head how many properties are for sale in any given area at any given time. That's not me. I don't do that part of it. So I went on the RSR Home Scout, and I just put in there that I wanted to know properties that were in that price range. So I just put in there, and you can do this for any range you want. So I put in there that I wanted to know under $700,000. Well, I didn't know, am I going to find anything? Is there anything in Anaheim Hills or the surrounding areas under $700,000? And I went in there, I made sure that I changed the parameters. I didn't want any farms. I didn't want manufactured. I didn't want lots. I didn't want anything else. And I came up in Anaheim Hills and the surrounding areas, there are 27 properties that are at $700,000 or less. Places that you can actually sleep in, right? Because farm is not going to find a whole lot there, or raw land doesn't help us a lot. 700. There's quite a few properties that are available. 27 of them. Well, if you want a search like that, again, all you have to do is go to rsrhomescout.com. You can get that customized. If you decide you want to save your search, you're then going to get a update anytime there's new activity. If there's a new property comes online, it'll just send you an email if you so desire, a text message if you so desire. You can change it and say, I only want the ones with 17 bedrooms or more. I don't know if you're going to have that many, but right, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, whatever your minimums are. You put your own unique, personalized information in, and it's going to get you all that information. So I'm going to just throw that out there. Again, rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com.